there's not one there at all now.
The boat was still there the last time I was
Ready?
there, but
I'll be darned.
when I was
What?
coaching Southwood, we took the staff
Hey.
down there.
Hey, you need to scoot forward a little bit more,
Okay.
according to the producer. Good morning and welcome to another infamous edition of Talkin Sports. I'm Bill Barrows, your congenial host. With me are my partners, Jim Landrum, Steve McClure, Rick Harness, and our fifth Beatle, which this is true, our fifth Beatle will explain, Brian Tonzoni, who used to coach here at Northfield years ago and became part of our sports team, and we're just putting the band back together. That's what today's all about.
That's right.
So, great. Good morning, big guy. How you doing?
Great. It's great to be here.
So, headed into the Christmas season, I'll have my Christmas message to
Throwing pins and needles.
I'm sure you are.
Sort of like the Pope speaking.
That'll be later in the show. But anyway, we're going to talk to Brian about basically today's episode is twofold. We're going to talk about old times and all our old broadcasting fun and all that, and then we're going to have Brian. Well, in fact, we could do either one back to back. Have Brian talk about his podcast and some of the things that he's been doing since he left Wabash County. But apparently, you were over here last night.
Oh yeah, I do a little financial business over
Checking
here.
his bank account.
Checking my bank account with my guy over here.
Okay,
So,
here's the deal. We were texting back and forth Sunday.
yeah.
Texting back and forth on Sunday, and he says, "It's been a while since I've been to Wabash. I don't remember where the museum is." So I sent him the directions, whatever. So did you explore last night to make sure
No,
you knew?
I just put it in. I just put it in the phone.
I mean, Tyler's office is like one block north of here.
You know, I coach here. You know, I can put it in the phone. Right, the technology stuff. Help me out.
I'm close to that now.
There you go.
We've been trying to get Rick to have somebody put a calendar on his phone so that he'll remember things.
I fly by the seat of my pants.
And we were talking, Joe McSpadden and I were talking about this about a month ago when Rick didn't show up for one of our lunch things. And Joe said, why would you waste the effort to have somebody put a calendar on his phone? He won't look at it anyway. Truer words have never been spoken. Think about
It's
that.
called freedom, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to be thinking freedom about this time tomorrow.
Yeah, all right.
So anyway, first and foremost, I called my lovely wife and had her bring this down. Can we see that?
Yeah.
Good. This is a picture of 5 of us. Coach, you're not in this, but Bob Hampton is, so whatever.
Close enough.
This
Sorry about
is the five of us that broadcasted that particular Southwood championship football game, which we'll bring this back when Seidel comes. But it's Bob Hampton, Jim. God, we look different.
There's only
Me.
about half of us there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Wait,
and,
what?
And Brian's got a hat on, which
Well, I was on the field.
you were on the field.
Yeah.
So were these two.
I had hair.
So did I. So anyway, we'll prop that puppy up right there. Can you see that there? All right. Okay. That's one of our memories, and I think that's probably a good place to start.
Mhm.
Here's the deal. Years and years and years ago, I was the play-by-play guy for one of the radio stations here in town, and I recruited all of these guys in time to help me do the games, do the color, whatever. Asked Rick to do it at first because he had done it before, and I knew he had, and it was kind of in all seriousness, was kind of a marriage made in heaven because we know how to
Is that
talk.
where it was from?
Yeah, we know how to talk sports.
Yeah.
And then Rick and I were coaching high school baseball at Wabash, and we needed somebody to do the games on Saturday, and we talked Jim into doing it. Tell the viewers what you said to Jim to get him to do it.
You should have prepped me for this one. I don't remember. I don't. Do you know?
I can tell it from my
Go ahead.
perspective.
Dude,
Yeah,
dude,
go ahead.
my memory.
God, he's
I
losing
had
it.
tuned in to listen to you guys do a game once, and you were gone, and Bill had somebody else. It wasn't Brian, but he had somebody else there.
Huh?
And I just teased Bill, and I said, "Man, you missed Rick the other night. You guys are good, but I don't know." So Bill said, "Would you ever help me?" I said, "No." No. Never done anything like that, no.
Created a monster.
So I get home from work one night, my wife says, hey, Bill called, you need to be at Wabash at 7:30 for the sectional baseball game. I said, why? She said, they need a sports announcer. I said, no. Well, Rick knew I wouldn't come. So he calls me and he says, get yourself
Over here.
down here. So I go down there and I said, what, Rick, what am I? And he said, well, you got Brian Tonzoni. He's going to do play-by-play. All you've got to do is be the color guy. I said, well, do we have any stats? Do we have anything? No, we just fly by the seat of our pants. I said, I don't know what to do. He said, do two things. Number one, just talk baseball with Brian. Just like you and him are sitting at a game. And he said, never beat up the kids. Always praise them because you're talking to parents and grandparents. And he said, other than that, just go. And Brian was kind to me.
That
We had
sounds way too wise for me to.
it was good advice, and we had a great night that night.
Well, you know, Jim and fellas, one of the things that I appreciated and I've taken on now when I do podcasts and things like that is they're athletes. We did the high school athletes. Now I'm podcasting about college athletes, but they're still athletes, right? You can point out that someone didn't do something correct or, stole second base, didn't get a good jump, but you don't go after the kid, right? And
absolutely.
I was really proud of what we did. We had in the swamp, the call-in show too, and we kind of tried to nix all of that stuff. That was, I think, why I enjoyed being part of this group, and I think that we were successful during the time that we run that very thing that you brought up about not beating up athletes, especially in the high school realm.
There's enough negativity in the world.
And it's
Exactly.
just exploded now with the phones and stuff. Before, we were back together before all that stuff happened too. But I'm glad you brought that up because that's one of my better memories of what we did together.
I agree, and I think if we had any success, I think it was because we made it about I'm teasing. We had fun. But it was about the kids.
Yeah.
It wasn't about us. We weren't there trying to impress anybody, just like today. We're just here talking, having fun, facilitating what they do and giving them something to go on.
Exactly, and how this kind of evolved was the three of us were doing it. Steve took a hiatus from coaching at Northfield, and his son Brady, it was his senior year, and so I knew Steve was going to be at the games, and I just asked him one time. I said, Rick and Jim can't always make it. I said, would you consider doing games with me, knowing that he had done some on the IHSAA network when you were coaching at Northfield, and you had all that success. So that worked out, and then next thing you know, Brian's coaching at Northfield, and we asked Brian to be involved after we realized that we had a Jim on our hands because he was a built-in interview. I mean, call him on the phone. Just all of
You didn't have to write down a lot of questions.
No, one question, he runs with it. It was great. And then we asked him to help us be involved with this sports team, and it really played out well. And when we were talking about doing all this, I was sitting thinking, who can I ask to do this? And to be honest, Brian was on the top of the list. It was just a question of getting him here.
Well, Coach McClure got back into coaching because he knew I was back in town. he knew there were some W's to be had, right? A couple wins. I don't need to do that radio stuff. We'll just go beat up on Brian.
Well, I remember about that radio thing, Brady was playing, and of course, having your own kid play, you hear all this positive stuff come towards you and your son and all that.
Yep.
And anyway, Brady drove down the middle and threw a little no-look pass to Dwayne Crum, and could you dunk back in? I'm thinking he dunked
I think
it.
so.
I think so.
Yeah, he flushed it, and Bill or somebody elbowed me and says, "You're allowed to brag on your kid now."
You didn't do that very often, though. Seriously, you didn't do that very often.
I tried not to.
But it was all right. But so we started doing it on the radio, and then we had a Friday night call-in show that was really originally was nothing more than doing scores and stuff as they came in. For whatever reason, we made Rick the host of that, and talk about the jungle, Rick.
Big mistake.
Talk about the jungle.
Oh, the jungle was fun.
Well,
Was it
yeah.
the jungle or the swamp? We played swamp music.
Swamp.
That was
music.
it.
We
The
played
swamp.
swamp music.
Not the jungle, the
By
swamp.
Leonard Skinner, the
Yeah,
intro.
it was the
That's
swamp.
right.
Yeah,
Was it
it
the
was.
swamp? Yeah.
So I misled you there.
Yeah.
So talk about that a little.
Well, we just, we started coming up with fun things to talk about. We wanted it to be fun. I didn't want it to be a job. I had one of those. And so we come up with different lists, trivia things and things like that. Nothing earth shattering, but it's just fun stuff. And people started calling in and responding to it. So it was fun. And it wasn't original, but we had fun doing it.
It certainly wasn't original.
And I think people could tell that we were having fun, and that helps. Yeah.
Well, we had coaches come in after games. You guys came in
Yeah.
after games. You Coach Seidel.
Terry would always
Coaches
call.
were very cooperative and engaging, and really, like we kid Brian about, asking one question for 20 minutes. But he wasn't the only one, and actually we appreciated that.
Yeah.
Oh,
It makes it easy.
absolutely.
Yeah.
It makes it, that's what it's about. People didn't want to hear what we had to say. We were just there to give a voice to these coaches and the players and the fans, and I think we did that.
Coach Tonzoni did teach me a valuable lesson one night. I told him I was tell the
Uh-oh.
story. After a tough loss, we had been announcing together for quite a while, so we're close friends, and
We're all still close friends.
Oh, absolutely. But we had a tough loss, and I'm sitting there, and Bill always did the post-game interviews. So I'm sitting here just relaxing. Here comes Coach up, so I start to get up. Bill stops me and takes his headset off right away and hands it to Coach. And I thought, oh, I must be going to do the interview. I'm totally unprepared, right? And it
did
had
this
been a
on
tough
purpose.
loss. I think Bill saw the fire in your eye when you come walking up the stairs and you got out of there. It never dawned on me at the minute, but now I realize.
Bill's a coward.
So Coach comes up, gets a headset on, sits down beside me, and I ask some kind of I'm mumbling some kind of question trying to get started. And he looks at me, totally ignores what I said, says what he wants to say, took off the headset, set it down, and was gone. And I went, well, that was Coach Brian Tonzoni.
Luckily, we were on the radio. We couldn't see anybody's faces.
But what he taught me was a valuable lesson. Steve Platt, which I'm sure you all know Steve, he was my next door neighbor, and he said, hey, I listened to your game the other night. I said, did you listen to the post-game interview? He goes, let me give you some advice, because he was Huntington University coach, for those of you who don't know. He said, after a game, especially a loss, all you need to say is, Coach, what are your thoughts?
Yep, pretty much.
Then you're out of the fray.
Yeah.
And I said, that's good. So from then on, that was my post-game question, and the only one what are your thoughts, Coach?
All right, I'm going to get on the soapbox a little bit because I want to hear what you guys say about this. Nothing, and you can ask my wife, nothing makes me madder than the pregame interview right before the game when the players and or the coach are walking onto the field, or the halftime interview of the coach when they're going off the court or off the field. They don't want to. What do you guys think? I hated doing those interviews when we were asked to do them.
I wouldn't, if asked, I wouldn't do it. Pre-game's okay, but, halftime, leave them alone. They got other
I'll
things
tell you
to
who
worry
I
about.
think handles as well as Coach Signetti, because he's businesslike, he's into the game, he's sick, and he gets out of there. Have you met him?
I have not met him personally, no, but coaches don't like to talk to the press anyway. I mean, just period. The good ones know how to, be respectful back and forth because the press have to do a good job. But I'm with you. I don't like those. But from a coaching standpoint, I'm locked in to start the game. I'm locked in at halftime. I want to go and talk to the squad. I don't like them, but it's all about money, and it's all about recruiting now too at the college level to get your program seen. So they kind of have to accept it. But I'm with you, Bill. I could do without that because you don't get anything like, what are you going to do in the second half? Play better. Okay, thank you, Coach. It's the same thing over and over again. Right?
Well, and they lead them in.
Watch Greg Popovich.
Oh, yeah.
That's beautiful.
They lead them into a question.
I would handle it.
Okay.
I got the first time that we ever had to do that was a sectional game, and it was at North Miami, and you were coaching, and I went to him before the game, and I apologized to him before we even started, and I said, Steve, at halftime, I'm obligated to get a couple of quick words as you're going off the floor. And the look on his face was like, to hell with you, but I'll do it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I don't know who asked me to do that. I don't know whose idea it was, but let's get a few words as they walk off at halftime. I think it might have been you, Bill, or somebody told you we needed to do
Yeah.
that or whatever. And I said, I remember telling you, I said, I'm gonna do that, Bill. I said, this is supposed to be fun.
Yeah.
That isn't fun for anybody.
No.
I said, I know you're paying me big money, but I'm not doing that.
To me, Signetti set the tone on this, and it was this year. They're playing at Penn State. They never won there. Indiana had never won at Penn State before. And the girl, I can't even remember which one it was now, sticks a microphone in his face, and she says, Coach, this is going to be a tough day, tough game. Your kids, or Indiana's never won at Beaver Stadium. And he went, these kids have never played here. Off he went.
Yeah,
I thought,
yeah, I saw it.
Popovich is good, Signetti's good.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
So it's just things like that. There's nuances that you kind of learn after a while. But the thing was, just like the swamp, the show itself was so much fun. To be honest, I may have said this to you guys. I know I said it to my wife. I guess I understand how entertainers get hooked on drugs, because you get done with that and come down off of that high. You got to have, I guess they have to have something to keep that high. But we would get done with that show and we would sit there a lot of nights and talk for another hour.
Oh, yeah.
It was just that much fun.
Bill start crying.
We'd have casseroles and stuff brought to us.
Yeah.
We had
Oh, yeah.
food brought to
Oh,
us. People
yeah.
would bring us food and we'd sit down there and brownies, all kinds of stuff.
yeah.
You guys aren't supposed to accept food. You aren't supposed to accept things from the sponsors. This wasn't from the sponsors. This was from mothers and
Yeah, these
whoever
drop it
else.
off.
Coaches' wives.
That was great.
Oh, man.
One of my favorite times is when I think it's between Northfield and Southwood, Brady was playing and my brother and his wife came up. And her name's Pam, and I'm always teasing her. And they had, it's 3 hours back to Rising Sun, and they left at halftime and looking pretty good. And I knew they'd be listening though. And I'd call her Deanna every once in a while. Deanna was a huge lady that lived next door to Mom and Dad when they'd go down to Florida.
Oh, God.
And so you kind of hand me the mic and everything. No, I'll tell you what, I
How huge
appreciate.
was she, Coach?
Pardon me?
How huge was she, would you say?
Pretty good size.
Pretty good size?
She might be listening, so I'm gonna be careful. Stick with me now, but
Way to evade the question.
I'm just
Coach.
trying to get you in trouble.
He's still instigating.
Yes.
It's back in the swamp.
It's like
22 years ago.
yeah, down in Florida. So but anyway, I got on there and I said, "Hey, anything you want to add, Mac?" I said, "Yeah, I just like to, thank my brother Bill and his wife Deanna for coming up to watch Brady."
Now, I didn't know any different.
No, they didn't know. No, they thought that was nice. Well, they were at Wendy's pulling through, and she says, "Turn around, we're going back." So I misused the radio that night.
Well, we can't talk about the post-game show without talking about the Oscar Robertson.
Oh, I was going to bring that up
Interview.
earlier. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, we've talked, Coach, you'd asked earlier what we're going to do in the future, and that's one of the things we want to do. We believe we've still got the tape of when we interviewed
I keep
Oscar
forgetting to
Robertson.
look for it.
For those of you who are younger, Oscar Robertson was one of the top
Big O.
5 to 10 players of all time, and we got the chance to interview him on a post-game
That's awesome,
night.
man.
And how about that?
And it was an hour-long interview, and it was so engaging that a man of that stature would take the time, first of all, just to get on with us, and two, to explicitly answer every question we asked, and then go into great detail as to what he went through.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Well, if you remember, he had a good friend named Joe Wolfless, how we got the chance to interview Oscar, and Joe was there, so he knew the right questions to ask. Things he knew Oscar would love to talk about, and it was just, I remember when we got done, Rick said, he just let out a big breath.
Yeah.
Oscar
he
was really my first hero. As a kid.
Yeah.
I remember as a kid, I'd check the box scores every day after.
See, we
Royals
watched
game.
him a lot. Rising Sun's 30 miles from Cincinnati.
Right.
So we watched him all the time on our 13-inch black and white TV.
Yeah, yeah.
You had a 13-inch?
It was a big one.
He was just, I don't know.
How big was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go,
It
Coach.
wasn't as big as this screen right here.
And it's sitting on a little, whatever that thing was.
Mhm.
Oscar was very engaging, very approachable, maybe not the words, we were doing it over the phone, but he seemed like a very
From
approachable
Indianapolis,
guy. And,
Indiana.
you know,
And it didn't.
very impressive.
To me, none of it seemed canned or prepared. He just poured it out.
I describe it as the best interview no one ever heard.
Yeah.
Little Wabash
Mm-hmm.
has this interview.
Yeah.
You're right. He was just so engaging, and I think having Joe there helped a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it helped his.
Joe, be honest, Joe made us look pretty good.
Yeah.
He made us sound good because, like you said, of the questions he knew to ask. And then there were even some follow-ups that we asked that Joe would even, if I remember correctly, would even come up with other
Well, he did.
follow-ups.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
it
yeah.
was,
It was very easy. He was nervous about it, but
mhm.
it was very easy to do.
One thing, now this is a secret we've never told you guys. All these years we've held this from you. And I don't know if you remember this, but remember people used to call in on the shows, and Bill and I'd be driving back, and you guys would be in the studio doing the show. And,
I hated those times.
well,
I had no idea how to run that board.
That's why we ended up hiring somebody to do it for
I
you.
kept dropping calls. And, it was awful.
well,
Yeah, from Billy Bob.
Yeah.
Here's oh yeah, that's a whole
Yeah, that's
other
all.
story.
Yeah. I
Remember-
don't know if we want to go there.
Yeah, we better.
No, we don't.
But if you guys remember, on slow nights, Bill and I'd be there going, we got to get some excitement going. So one night I called in, and we've never told you guys this in
I
all these
remember
years.
where we were.
You know what I
with
do?
that. Yes.
You know what I
Go.
do?
Again, I'm not remembering any of this.
It's
Well,
been a
I
long
think
time,
you
Rick.
might
yeah.
when I say this. There was this old guy I knew from Huntington, and we always used to laugh at him. You gotta talk like this. And so I called him and I said, Ricky, hey, this is Joe Bob out here. And I'd say all
I
kinds
do
of dumb
remember
stuff,
that.
and you guys were just dying like it was me. And you guys never figured it out, and we never told you. Remember that?
I do. I remember
See
where
what
we
you're
were.
getting into.
Yeah,
I was
guys.
already nervous because I couldn't run the board properly. I didn't need that extra.
You ran that board fine.
Oh, it was awful. It was a struggle.
We also used to. Rick was really good at this. He would come up with questions, and a lot of times they were pop culture questions, which I just, to this day, I love. In fact, that's one of the ways that I got Rick to buy into doing this, was that we would talk about those types of things that we have and we're going to continue to. One of the first questions he asked, think about this a minute. He said, all right, we need people to call in and let us know, Ginger or Mary Ann? Remember that, Brian?
I do.
Some guy called in and said, I have to recuse myself because I did them both.
Whoa.
And we all think that was Rick. That's what we.
Yeah, we think he stepped out of the room.
Yeah.
Whatever. But it was things like that. There were questions like that. And at the same time, we're taking scores. People are calling in, giving us scores. We had a archaic computer that would bring stuff up and give us. There was very few dull moments, and then we went to commercial, and then it got worse. It's like, and Alec and I've talked about this a little bit, and I know Hope has too. It's that 10 or 15 minutes before this show starts, or the 10 or 15 minutes afterwards, because that was the commercial breaks. We would be running around trying to figure out what we were going to say next, or getting scores or whatever, and then talking about who just called and how we can screen calls better so idiots like that were not on the air.
Exactly.
Be like the guy pretended to be.
Yeah, exactly. But there were
Well,
some that
listen.
were real.
While we're on this subject, for the rest of my life, whenever I think of Coach Tonzoni, this
Here we
will be
go.
the thing.
Here we go.
He had the
I'm
greatest
I
answer.
remember this one. This is a good one.
He had the greatest answer to one of the pop culture questions I've ever heard. You set the record, Coach. The question was, Rick came up with it. It's the day after Thanksgiving. And you got
Oh,
leftover
yeah.
turkey.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have, what was it, mustard or mayo?
Mayonnaise. Turkey
Mustard or
sandwich, what
mayonnaise.
do you put on it? Mustard
Yeah.
or mayonnaise?
And people are calling
Those
in.
were
I
the
mean,
only options, Brian, by
No,
the
they
way.
weren't.
yeah, there were only 2 options given. And I mean, we had a lot of people calling in that
Yes,
night.
we
It
did.
meant mustard, mayo. Everybody's telling us why. Coach Tonzoni.
Gravy.
Gravy! That's it!
Why didn't I think of that?
That's it! That was the greatest answer I've ever
I
heard.
didn't know that was that great.
Oh, I've never forgotten.
Sometimes you just can't stop the gyms from coming.
Exactly.
You
It's just natural.
they just come.
Like guys like you and I,
You can't stop it.
no, it just flows.
Yeah.
Pearls of wisdom.
Pearls of
Pearls of
that's
wisdom.
beautiful.
Casting pearls among swine.
Hey, now
Pearls
here's
of
another
much
thing.
wine.
You guys remember this? When you were talking about after the show.
Jim remembers everything.
He had that folder full of stats
Yeah.
all in every
He's
game.
killing it.
Like this kid threw for 37 this long in the
That's
last
why-
10 games. Like holy cow!
What would-
Did he have a job?
what
Like
would-
he just came with a real job. He had all this numbers and stuff. It sounded
I
good.
know. What did we call him?
Stat boy.
Stat boy.
He was Stat Boy before Stat Boy.
Billy Bob actually gave him that name.
Yeah, he did.
Called him Stat Boy.
Did he give you that name?
Yeah.
Oh,
So anyway, go ahead.
well, you remember after the show, they had us do commercials.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember
tape
we read that-
And the
commercials,
tape
yeah.
commercials so I
And
could saw them in.
The big deal was when you're trying to do this, and of course everybody needs to be quiet, and these guys are making fun of you while you're reading, and you're trying to be serious, so we all try to get it in one take. And we could never get it in one take because people made us laugh.
Wade used to call me One Take Bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could do it, but none of the rest of us
And your
could.
wife called you that too.
Uh-oh.
I have a few comments, but I'll keep them to myself.
Right in the dumper. Right in the dumper.
Well, that's a short story, so let's go.
Anyway, go ahead, Jim.
Well, it was just so much fun trying to do those commercials
Oh,
and be
yeah.
serious. We just had, guys, didn't we have fun?
We had a good
I
time.
mean, that's what we did.
We watched the 2003 Cubs Marlins championship series
On that show.
On that
On
show
that
while
show.
that was going on.
Yep.
I remember that we were all pacing back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah, I was nervous.
I was laying on the floor in front of the console. Rick's like, did Bill leave? I'm watching the game.
Yeah, so we were really the forerunner of all these guys that do that now, like your show,
Yeah,
right? You
exactly.
brought that to, that's cool.
Exactly. We'll talk more about all that, but Brian, that leads us into what you're doing now. We talked about this before we went on the air, but tell us what you're doing, how you developed this, how it came about. It's very interesting, and again, it's something
Obviously,
that.
he makes a trip from Delphi to check his bank account once a week.
Well, yeah. This is a fairly famous thing in this area specifically.
Yeah. So I'm teaching at Delphi. I've been out of coaching now for about 5 years. I've been a head coach and assistant coach for some former assistants of mine asked me to come back. You know how that is once
Right.
you leave and then go back. But I'm in my last year of teaching. But a couple things that I've developed is this bracketology club at Delphi Bracketology or at Delphi High School, where we do the Joe Lenardi, ESPN or CBS, try to tell everyone where your team's going to be seated, and there's a contest. And we've done that now for 11 years, and it's become pretty well known across the country for the most part. So we do some taped podcast or live streaming like this on Thursdays to share that information. But the other thing is I'm part of a podcast network that covers Indiana University sports. It's called the Back Home Network, and it was going. We do a post-game basketball show. It's my segment of the network, and I just kind of followed it and joined it. And then I was in charge of the chat, making sure no one would say bad things. And then they asked me to be on as a guest. And then in 2017, they asked me to be co-host. So then there's like 7 or 8 of us that are a part of this network. We have football, women's basketball, Indiana Pacers, 7 or 8 podcasts that are in this network now, but I'm part of the basketball thing called Assembly Call, and we go live after every basketball game, talk for an hour and a half, and
You're a glutton for punishment. That's what we used to do.
yeah, so it's come full circle, but it's different now. Instead of going to the studio and having people bring food, you just sit in your recliner and turn your camera on your TV and join people. My main co-hosts are from Los Angeles or San Diego, Dallas, Texas, suburb of Dallas, Texas, and Cincinnati, Indiana alums, and we just get together after games, and we take turns hosting and
Did
so
you know
forth.
these guys before?
No, I just knew them from this show,
Really?
and we have a meetup every year now in Bloomington where they all fly in, and then we announce it, and the people who follow can come, and we go to a bar and hang out, and sometimes we do a live show in Bloomington on those weekends. We're going January 17th, I think, for the Indiana-Iowa game, is everyone to get together. That's the only time I generally see them. The gentleman from Cincinnati, we get together every once in a while and go to a game, or he comes into Bloomington for a football game or something, I'll see him. But yeah, it's just all remote.
Yeah.
And it's been quite a following. Amazing what people want now on online communities, and what you guys are doing here, and the people who tune in, like you feel a part of what you're doing. That's what's happening with the Back Home Network. Wow. And we're looking to expand. We have sponsors and all this stuff, and we're looking to expand and make a little more money, and
Yeah.
we get some good numbers. The fan base there, and then with the football side of our network is going nuts right now.
Oh, but
We have a gentleman by the name of Rhett Lewis who's on the NFL Network, and he does Big Ten play-by-play or color that has a podcast now with us. So
Wow.
we have Tricia Whitaker, who's done some Tampa Bay sideline reporting. She's now a professor at IU Media School. She does a podcast with us, our network now, so it's expanding to many different areas. And
this is a
it's a lot of fun.
full-time job? for
No, I get a small stipend every once in a
you? Well, I
while.
mean, the hours that you have to put in.
Yeah, I'm retiring from teaching. I've told the guys I look forward to doing the run sheet every day, writing up the ads.
I'm
I'm
gonna
doing
let the
more of
cat
that,
out.
so.
I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. It's been 2 months ago or so. He and I were texting back and forth, and he says, "Well, what date do you need me there?" And I said, "It's Thursday, December 18th." And he texted back and said, "That's finals day here at Delphi. I'll be there."
There we go.
Dedicated teacher.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think the superintendent of Delphi School is probably watching yet.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, I'm retiring at the end of the year.
I
I
was
got
gonna say, what makes it
I got 108 days to spend.
There you go. There you
Rapids
go.
County.
So you got two things going. We got the bracketology club where we do media stuff at Purdue and Butler and Notre Dame, and then I have the podcast stuff and try to teach is my full-time job. But when I retire, I'm going to put more into that and try to help all of those people that are involved.
Great to have something like that you have
Yeah.
a passion for. Isn't it?
Oh,
Yeah.
And as you know, I can talk. So
it's never been a
so I have
question.
2 areas where that comes in handy.
So, how long ago was it? 2 or 3 weeks ago, I'm at a Purdue basketball game with my daughter-in-law, and all of a sudden I look up and there's Brian, and I'm like, whoa! So we get together, we're talking there a minute, and so he's telling me about. I'm like, he's got like a tag on, it's a media pass, and I'm like, dude, what is this? Is that
Good time,
Forbes?
wasn't
Explain that.
Yeah, so as part of the bracketology, the high school club, we reached out to Purdue, and we get media passes now, and we try to bring students with us that are part of our club. We really have a lot of success with photography, our photography class. We had a couple gentlemen that get passes there, but we'll bring students to football games, basketball games, Big Ten tournament, and give them that media experience. And it's really good. We have 3 faculty members, and 2 of us take those media passes almost every game, right?
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with
So
that.
I go to 8 or 9 Purdue games. I live 20 minutes away, and it's pretty nice. You have access behind the scenes and under the tunnel
great.
of major college basketball,
yeah.
and go to the press conferences and all of that. And
So how many college basketball games were you going to attend this year?
37 this year.
37.
37 total.
That's more than
Wow.
a season.
Yeah. So.
That's doing
It's
it.
impressive.
And what would
That's
you
too
pay
many.
for 37?
Oh yeah,
If you just,
if you didn't have media passes.
Yeah.
And I like getting there early and going down on the court and watching people. The old coach in me is to watch players work out.
Sure.
Coaches communicate and do all that, and you have access to that. And the other day at Mackey, there's just one small restroom up the ramp. You know,
Oh, yeah.
Mackey up the ramp. It's
Oh, yeah, I know
just
exactly
one
where it
small
is.
restroom. So after the press conference, I go in,
It's very
and there's
nice.
Coach Painter.
It's very nice.
I got to bump into Coach Painter, who I'm an IU guy, IU Podcast Network. sorry for you IU
Wait a
fans.
minute.
One of the best coaches in the country.
Did you stand there? Did you look at him and go, Larry?
I was just gonna ask.
No, but
You got
what a great, he was such a great guy. Just started up a casual conversation, not about basketball, but he didn't have to say anything
Right.
to a media guy or anyone. And he just, how you doing tonight? Blah, 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 you know. And for 3 or
does
4
things-
minutes,
he does
he's
things the right way.
outstanding. Those opportunities for us, those opportunities for students have
Oh,
been
yeah.
really good. The students walk through that tunnel and there's Zach Eady and they're looking up at him underneath the basket. Like when you can provide that for students, I think, you know, it's to see kids down at Indianapolis at Gainbridge for the Big Ten tournament, and they're on the floor taking pictures, and then they produce 2,400 pictures, and they're practicing their trade. Wow. Now those two kids want to go into business and start their own photography. So, you know, we've had in bracketology club, we've had financial analysts, we've had people go into the media at school. You know, we've had blue collar kids that have gone on to factory work, but we've had all types of kids, and there's a lot of, it's a great learning thing because you got to think about the data and the RPI or the old RPI, the net and all the stuff that we do. And then you got to speak, and then we have a website, so you got to type and write correctly. And I've always told people it should be a class because it's real life stuff, not worksheets and tests like our kids are inundated with. But it's been the bracketology piece is what you saw me doing that night. It's been a great thing. And I'm going to still do that even though I retire. I'm going to do all the legwork, and then the fellow teachers that are with us will still run that. So
Do you think you'd get a little bit on the side if you went with some betting odds?
I would if it wasn't a high school thing, right? I mean, because people ask me all the time about we really
Let's talk
suck.
about
Once the bracket is set,
Yeah.
and you know the pool for $5, like our group sucks at that because it's so ingrained in number one seed's the best team. It's kind of hard to pick against them as they get to the Sweet 16 and whatever.
Yeah.
So we're good at creating the bracket, but we pretty much suck, all of us, at helping you win your pool.
Coach, you mentioned something that really struck me when I heard you talk about this. I mean, for one thing, I'm sure you got into it originally because it was fun.
Yeah.
Right? It was a good time. We all had it.
Yeah.
But the fact that you're bringing these kids in, I can remember being in high school, and they had a radio thing, but we were athletes. We didn't have time for all that.
Right.
I never realized that's something you could do for a living. You have a passion to do this.
Yeah.
And you're giving that to kids, and now they're taking that as an
We
opportunity.
get to talk sports in school. We meet every Friday, and then I give kids passes to come down to homeroom, and so we sit around and talk about games. And we have kids creating now with technology and the webpage. They're creating, you know, Player of the Week with the technology and pictures and stuff. So I would have given anything in high school to sit around and talk with someone
Absolutely.
about sports
Are you
and
kidding?
basketball, and so we've been fortunate enough to do that.
I mean, I remember-
along with all that other stuff that you're
Yeah,
talking
when you
about,
were at
lifelong
Northfield,
skills.
you had me come in and speak one time about that exact thing, and it's like the attention level, especially the boys, but some of the girls, the attention level to me, they were really into it. So, are you going to miss this a year from now?
I'm still going to be involved. So, real quick, we pull data down every 2 days, and then we rank 1 through 68 because there's 68 teams in the tournament. I've taught kids how to do that. I've taught teachers how to do that. But I'm basically going to still do all that at home. The only thing I'm going to miss is those meetings. And I live 30 seconds from the school, so there's going to be some times I could go in for the meetings too. I'm sure as heck can still do the media 37 games.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to hang on to that as long as I can drive.
Yeah.
Right?
You can't beat free.
No. So I actually think we can do more. I'd like to dress up the website and be a little more regular on our articles and stuff like that. I can't do when you have 8 classes and you got to run stuff and then the evening. So actually, I think we'll do more. I'll do more with it in retirement.
Well, again, you've got a passion to do it. I can hear it in your voice. That's
Oh,
why
yeah.
what you said. How did I do all those stats back there and have a full-time job?
that
You're
was
doing
it.
it.
You would love this data thing, the spreadsheet that we have. I got it color coded and quad 1, quad 2, net, Ken Palm. Like you and I could get lost for hours.
Oh, yeah.
Think about this. He knew what Sagarin ratings were
Yeah.
before we did.
Yeah, exactly.
I can remember when we did the state championship game, the football game at the Dome, and we're all in the somebody had an SUV, and we're all
Rick.
going together.
That's Rick.
And I'm sitting clear in the back, And you guys are talking about the stats, and I'm doing stats all the way down. I've got like I've got stuff like this.
Saddest thing I've ever heard.
Was that a great experience? So let's talk about that.
Saddest
Day.
thing.
We had our home rain man. 27 miles to Indy, Rick. 27 miles to Indy. We didn't need GPS. We had Jim.
Well, I can remember Jim and I went over to do the Pioneer Southwood football game in that path to the dome. And Jim told me all the way over there, he said Pioneer is 12-0 or whatever they were, hadn't been scored on, this and that. He goes, here's why Southwood's going to beat them, and this is how it's going to play out. And it played out exactly the way that he laid it out, because Southwood had played tougher competition, with all due respect to Pioneer, tougher competition. They had, they were deeper. They had talent, but it wasn't talent like some kid that whoever it was at the time that had 1,500 yards rushing, and to be honest, their competition wasn't as good as Southwood. Southwood played Tip Valley and Whitco and whoever else, and Coach Seidel was the defensive coach, and he knew how to stop it, and he did. And Jim proved that before we even got there.
Some people call that OCD.
The thing I'll never forget about that team was a lot of teams could play with them until the middle of the second quarter
Yeah.
because they came in with emotion and they were all fired up. And I'd look at Bill and say, wait till the second half,
Yeah.
because Southwood's line was so big and so
Yes,
strong.
sir.
You could see them just wear the other team down. In the second half, they owned them.
I got to be long on the ride on that. I was part of the
Yes,
staff.
you did. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You talk about it.
No, I mainly drove the freshmen and the equipment.
Okay.
But I mean, I got to be in the locker room and listen to what you're saying with Seidel and stuff, and you just kind of knew that, okay, guys, have your time, because our time's coming at the end of the game.
Mhm.
I had a little
Steve-
thing I'm sorry.
Yep.
I used to like to do, Steve Platt and I used to talk a lot about our stuff, and Steve told me one day, he says, oh, all you announcers are alike. He said, you make these predictions of what's going to happen, and if it doesn't happen, you never bring it up again. But if it happens, you come
You
back
say,
and
"Look
remind
there."
everybody. And so I started using that. It's like, I'm going to do this. And if you remember that game, I remember it like it was yesterday, Southwood was behind at half, came out in the third quarter, and the running back from South Putt had been going wide the whole game and just tearing them up. They had an early third and short. He's coming out here, and Colby Halderman comes over
Yeah.
and just stones him.
Yep,
Wait.
I
Right
remember
to
that.
short.
Yeah.
And I said at that moment, I said, if Southwood comes back and wins this game, that'll be the play that started.
And he was
And that's
right.
exactly what played out.
Yeah.
One of the things that Steve used to talk about, especially during football, but during basketball, was there would be teams, and Brian, some of your teams were recipients of this compliment, where they would come out and Steve would say to me on the air, he would say, it's okay, emotion only lasts so long.
Mhm.
And if you think about all the games we did together, if there was one team that was supposed to be so much better than the other, or maybe not as good as the other, that emotion could keep them in the game and be the equalizer for a while, at least.
Well, another thing I'll never forget about that championship game, and I want you guys to talk about this, was the winning kick.
Oh,
Gotta
yes.
tell the story about the winning
You
kick.
three were down there on the field. We were in the press box.
Yeah, I was,
Did we each have a mic, or did we share a
I
mic?
don't think they splurged and gave us all a mic.
Yeah, we were together down on the.
Yeah.
It was a little too dangerous to give more than one mic. I think that was the thought process.
I was standing under the goalpost.
Yeah, we both were. Yeah, we were both under the goalpost watching it come through.
Yeah, and it's in slow motion.
Well, Bill's making the call, and I think you guys had been like on the sideline,
Yeah.
but we don't know it, and they had moved under the goalpost, right behind it.
Yeah.
And Bill's making the call, and he goes, in the kick, and it's up. And all of a sudden, we just hear these two yelling and talking, it's good, it's good.
It wasn't even there yet.
And the ball wasn't even halfway there yet,
Well, I
but
mean,
they
it
knew.
was in the middle though,
And it still
and it
gives me
had
goosebumps.
room to spare too.
Oh,
It's like any good news organization, you want to have the story first.
well, you guys were right there.
We saw it before it went through the uprights.
We didn't wait to get permission to
No,
speak.
no.
We were gonna go
We
for
didn't
it.
wait for the officials to do
No, we were
this.
just gonna go.
And the thing is, the thing about that game, specifically that game, but we had a few others along the way that, you know, when you have commercials, if you're like now, I can I'd have in my headphones, I could hear the feed from the studio, so I could hear the commercials. In Indianapolis, I can't hear the commercials. Therefore, I can't hear you guys on the cue mic. So I still remember, you do too, we're sitting in Mr. Ursay's box doing the game, and these guys are like, whenever they wanted to talk, they would be going.
Brian was wore out.
Yeah,
He was wore out.
I think I slept on the way back.
But I mean, that's you know, when you're doing radio, people don't know that. But I mean, I had people, please take this the right way, public, people say, yes, that was an amazing broadcast. How did you guys do all that? They had no idea how hard we had to work to do that game.
Well, didn't Jim Brunner tell you that?
Yes, Jim Brunner from Marion. Mm-hmm.
Who's, kind of a local icon with
Yeah,
sports
right.
all these
Still
years.
is.
And he told Bill he was very complimentary of that whole broadcast situation.
Yeah, you guys had to be tired.
You were all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
They'd be waving at us from over here, and then way over there, and they're interviewing this parent, and it was fun.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And
I
that
tried
was
my best to get Tom Merritt after the game to
No
say
way.
something.
the way he was doing it.
would.
He threatened to throw something at me. I said, come on, Tom.
And
let's
he
talk."
would.
He wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it.
Well, as a reminder to everybody, because we're talking about, but Nick Arrett hit a 45-yard field goal with
Yes.
time running out. It's what we're talking about to
Right.
win a state
And
championship.
if I'm not mistaken, I haven't looked in the last year or two. Up until then, that was the longest field goal in a state championship game at any of the Indiana levels. It may still be.
That was incredible.
See, the thing I like about that for Nick too, we'd have open gyms, and he didn't play basketball. Brandon was very good,
Yeah.
and they'd go out to the parking lot, and there's Nick on the football field. Guess what he was practicing?
Kicking.
He was preparing for that moment. And
Hard work.
a lot of kids, I just want the moment. I don't want to play, work up to it. That boy put in the work.
Yeah. Talk about, to you guys, especially you, Coach, talk about some of those guys. I mean, I remember Bryant Paul. What a running
I
back
see
he
BP
was.
every once in a while.
Do you
He's
really?
Still in town.
Wow.
I see Jared McKee almost every Friday. He comes and brings his kids into Modoc's for coffee. And speaking of that, Modoc's is our sponsor for this show. So
Boy, that was smooth.
little segue there. But anyway, yeah, go ahead. Talk, those guys. You coach some of them in basketball.
That's been a long time ago in my chemo brain struggles. I'll think of it when I walk out through the car, but no, it was just, you could see that group of kids. I'll talk about them as a group. They were just going to succeed regardless of what they had to overcome. That's probably the best I can say about all of them. And yeah, you had your quote stars, but you didn't know which star was going to shine on a particular day, and that day was Nick's, and the whole team. I mean, how the team put him in that position. All of a sudden, he kind of rubbed his hands, and said, "I've been waiting for this."
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we were talking about the Hall of Fame and getting a lot of
I
input
know where
as to
you're
people
going.
coming in.
And I've
I
done
said-
this research, by the way.
Okay, one of the things I brought up was that line was incredible. They
Yeah,
won that
abs-
state championship. So
Yes.
we talked about how to put a group
Wood.
of guys
Mhm.
in the Hall of Fame
Yeah.
because I think they belong there.
Yes, yeah. Well, Jared, quarterback, nice, big athlete kid, but how good is he if you got defense in your face all day?
Right.
He
That's right.
didn't have to deal with that much.
Right.
And they could throw, they could run, they could kick, they could defend. They had it all.
Sure did.
I mean, that play that Colby Holderman made,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was right in front of Jim and I, right here. And he stoned him. That was a great word. He just stoned that.
Yeah.
Slobber knocker.
Yeah, exactly.
That was the
There
word.
it is. There it
That was my
That-
sideline reporting word.
That was yours, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Holy cow, guys, we just saw a slobber knocker down here.
That's
That's totally not my word. I think I stole it from someone on a broadcast somewhere, but I brought it to Wabash County.
You sure did.
I think that was a John Madden word.
It might have been, yeah.
But and that's all right.
It became the word, though.
Yeah.
We're good at borrowing things like that.
Yeah.
That's what coaches do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
But the what was really cool was when that was over and we got back, we drove back and we were invited to the celebration in the gym when they got back, and that's where this picture came from.
Yeah.
And when I remember when we walked into the gym out of that side door, we got like a standing O.
We did.
It was amazingly
Never forget
stupid.
that. That was so cool. We're like, what are they doing?
Especially for Northfield's basketball coach.
Yeah.
Walking in, right? What the heck's that all about?
I always walked behind Brian.
Yeah, you didn't want to take the flag.
I'm not taking slings and arrows for him.
But I don't know, we went through that, that was cool, they acknowledged us publicly and all that, and then, next thing you know, they're putting together back then, a VCS or VCH, what was it then? VHS video of it, and they used our broadcast underneath that. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I do still have that.
Do you?
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
I know where that's at.
We can digitize that
Yeah, I
now
have,
too and
yeah,
get it.
I have to get Jeff Galley to have that digitized for us. But that was about as good as it got. What would have been even more cool, and it just wasn't timely enough, regional and semi-state when this guy was coaching. That would have been cool. That would have been real cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Brian, back to the podcast thing, your podcast thing. I know you're a big tailgater, and you've done that since, when you were here.
Yeah.
Have you ever done the podcast or any of that stuff at your tailgate?
No,
at
but
IU?
after a few beverages, I've been known to videotape myself and put it out on our assembly call
I knew.
feed or my Twitter feed. Coach Tonzoni reporting for assembly call here. We're watching the Hoosiers kick some rear end, but nothing official. Wi-Fi's an issue sometimes when you get down there at the tailgate. So it's the cooler.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could
I'm
be.
still teaching.
Exactly.
So, I have 40 years. I've been going to Indiana football, so it's been a good run this year for us. I'm going to go to the Rose Bowl.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Good.
So, sold a couple kidneys and to get out there and go, but
Kidneys are overrated.
yeah. So still tailgating, still having a lot of fun, but never podcast there. We do some. I do from Assembly Hall post game sometimes on Media Row. If they need me, I will broadcast. From there for our
That'd be
post game.
cool.
So that's pretty cool.
Have you ever been by the Rose Bowl or anything?
No, I've never been out there.
My mother had an uncle lived in Alhambra, which is minutes from the Rose Bowl. So when we would visit, my brothers and I would always drive up around there and look, and you're gonna love it.
Yeah,
It
I
is
can't wait.
amazing. It's amazing.
Brian, is there a more amazing story than what Coach Signetti has done?
No, it's hard to understand because you've had coaches that will turn a program around in 3 or 4 years with a gradual build.
I've never seen anything.
I've never
like that.
seen. I cannot imagine anything. I think someone said it somewhere in national media. It would be like Northwestern being a #1 seed in basketball immediately after a
The
coaching
longest
stint.
football
But,
program in history.
in history.
And
Yeah.
within 2 years,
The portal has something to do, and guys like
Absolutely.
us, we don't like the portal and the NIL money and all of that.
I'm
we
told,
we
I'm
get
told
into
because
weeds.
we're old and set in our
Yeah,
ways.
but Signetti said it, and other coaches said it. It's the rules of the game now. You either live by it, you win by it, or you lose by it. But it's been incredible.
It's unbelievable.
I had about given up my season tickets in the year before Signetti came, and I held on to them because my youngest son still loves to go, and then the turnaround, and you go from 32,000 people, half stadium to.
Full
It's hard to
house.
get into the restroom now at halftime, right?
I can't think of a
it's
bigger
crazy.
story.
Well, Coach, not being an IU grad, I've always been an IU basketball fan. I'm tried and true since way before Coach Knight even. But I never was a football fan. I just didn't pay attention to it. So I'm a bandwagon fan. But the description I've heard that makes the most sense to me is, yeah, he's got the portal and all that. I get that, but still, when I heard some of the guys on one of the broadcasts talking about, he still had to pick the right guys and put them together and see that talent.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
In my opinion, here's what's great from an old coaching standpoint too. You know, you had your good teams when we had successful teams. People had a chip on their shoulder. You know, they wanted to prove something, or they were just solely dedicated to being in the gym shooting extra baskets or whatever. Like, if you can identify those guys when you recruit, you're going to win.
Yeah.
So bringing those guys from JMU, like, no one recruited me. Our linebacker just said, we're not going to play someone in this tournament that ever recruited me.
Wow.
So he's fired up to go on a national stage and do his best job, right? And I've said that for a long time. The big boys can get the 5 stars, and if they get 10 offensive linemen, they can find 5, right? And they're all going to be good. But your schools, when they rebuild, they got to hit those home runs with those chip on the shoulder guys. And I think Cignetti has been really good at locating that.
You can identify those guys.
Did they have you watch 60 Minutes the other night?
Yes.
Wasn't that great?
Yeah.
And, that quarterback, he just, I was, 4th grade or whatever, nobody picked me and stuff. But, I mean, he came from the bottom, and now he's on top.
And then the focus. Like, the coaches, he's focused on the next thing. I mean, yes, he does his media. Yes, he does all that. But my son and I laugh. They have this team walk, and previous coaches would high five and, how you doing? Blah, blah. He's ticked off the minute he gets off the bus. We make fun of it with Cignetti. Man, yeah, all right, we're in good shape.
Game face.
Game face.
Yeah.
Nice.
But like we were talking yesterday at lunch, IU basketball this year, they're going to be okay. They're going to be better. They're not going to be great, but they're going to be okay. But next year, they got to go through, and he's got all these. Rick likes the idea of having seniors on your team.
Yep.
And that's not, but next year he's going to have to do the same thing. Yeah. So does Cignetti, maybe not to the extent, but you're still looking for position players, and that can't be easy.
Yeah. The good thing I think about the portal is those guys get a chance to shine. If you play well at Elon, you get a chance to go into the Big Ten. You get a chance to go to the SEC, which you never did before. Once you were recruited, you could be, and there are those schools. You played at Furman, right?
Right.
The Paladins. I remember that. I root for them now.
Ever
since for 20 years. You're welcome. And you could still be successful in the old days there, and there was something about it. But the one thing I'm trying to find positive is that those kids can move on. Aiden Fisher can come from JMU and be a quarterback now, or a linebacker. Your basketball players, Lamar Wilkerson was really good at Sam Houston State. Now he's scoring 44 points in a Big Ten game. There's some opportunities.
Well, and I agree with you. I don't like all the NIL money and all that stuff. But think about those guys. Not only the guys you're talking about, not only can they go and do that, but they're making $1 million doing it. It used to be those guys got lost, right?
Yeah.
After college, they were good in college, but they couldn't make the pros.
Although, what would you do with $1 million on a college campus? I wouldn't want that bank account.
That's not a good thing. Yeah, that's a good. They need a finance class for those guys.
Wow.
Escrow, or put it in a trust fund.
Better yet.
Yeah.
Well, if you remember right, back in the day when, Joe Schmo running back was picked number 1 in the NFL draft, a couple of years later, after $1 million contract, they're finding him laying in the gutter somewhere. So they created those types of class opportunities for those rookies. And
as an old banker, I had a good friend who was friends with Eugene Parker. Sports attorney for Wayne.
Played at Purdue.
We actually tried to put together a banking business where we would bank his clients, and we'll get a mortgage for you. We'll put your money away. We'll invest it. You can trust us. We'll be a fiduciary for you. And you know what the problem with that idea was? They needed it. They didn't want it. They weren't going to listen to you as to how you're going to spend my money.
Yeah.
So, good idea.
Bet they would now.
They didn't want to drive over to Wabash every so often and check your bank account.
I was working out of Fort Wayne then.
You can do that online.
I know.
Edward Jones has a site.
Yeah.
Hey, not when you
I
got
like Tyler.
Rick, you're talking about small accounts. This is Brian's account.
That's
This
right.
is big money.
He's moved on. Look at us. We're sitting here.
Yeah. It's not hard to count mine.
Either. My wife reminds me of it every day.
No.
And you're
But,
retired?
Signetti, my opinion of him is, I think his work ethic is incredible. And he trusts that. And he sells that to his assistants.
Well
And
said.
And it's not just, it's every day.
Yeah.
You do the same thing, the same way, with the same effort, every day. And Signetti trusts that process works. And
And on top of that,
that's hard to do.
when during the process of contracts and all this and that, trying to keep him there as opposed to moving on to wherever, his biggest thing, from what I read, wasn't give me more money, it's give me the opportunity to have funding enough to keep my assistants and bring in, bring in better
They
guys.
just signed their defensive coordinator for $3 million.
Yeah.
That's unheard of at Bloomington.
That's-
And that, he's not gonna go to a smaller school. He'll have to take a pay cut to be a head coach at a smaller school.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and my guess is too that he's got a real passion for those kids, those players, and his coaches. You know, it's not about him. How many coaches get there and all of a sudden it's about them? And I've always thought players can smell that a mile away.
Well, he did say Google me,
He did, but
but you know, that was part of the plan too. He said now that he's backed off this year, but he had to shake up the fan base.
Yeah.
Well, he
Yeah.
did it.
And shake up the Big Ten and shake up,
Yeah.
like, announce that we're here, and then he just had the gravitas to get it done.
How confident do you have to be in your own ability to want to put yourself out there like that? And he did.
Well, he's
Yeah.
confident because, again, he's put in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows. When
Small
you put,
school
When
and
you
all,
put
yeah.
in the work in anything you do, it breeds confidence.
Yep.
That's how you
Yeah.
win. At life, at sports, whatever, you have to put the work in. There's no shortcuts.
Did any of you
Believe
read?
me, I tried them all.
that's how you got where you are
None of
today.
them work.
Did any of you guys read the letter that Fernando Mendoza's mother wrote to him?
I heard about it,
that
did
they
not read
put
it.
that they put it in the Players Tribune.
I did
I-
not read it word for word, but I saw it.
I'm
on
telling you,
social media.
Rick knows. My daughter-in-law is all over this kind of stuff. She has MS, and she was a tennis athlete, and all this and all that. She didn't tell her kids that she had MS until it became really obvious during COVID. You need to read that letter. Rick won't read it, and here's why. I sat there with tears running down my face. She's so eloquent.
I don't wake up every day and think, what can I cry about today?
Yeah, but
Rick, tell them what
I
you
avoid
said.
that.
I've missed you. Your sense of humor, you haven't changed in all the years
Jim
I've been gone.
Valvano.
Trust the process.
Yeah.
But what did
Did
Jim
it for a long time.
Valvano say? A good day,
Yeah.
if you can laugh, if you can cry, if you can, I don't remember what
I
I think.
Deep thought. Or
I
Yeah.
leave out the crying part.
Rick, when Rick's oldest daughter became about 23, he looked at me and he says, Jim, he says, it's been 23 years that that we go on a day without someone crying in our house.
Every day.
And he said, a lot of times it was me.
Jim, okay. Lacey is Rick's oldest daughter, oldest child. Jim and I got to her graduation
Come
first.
on. You're telling me about lies.
So that we could get seats that where we could see Rick cry long before it was going to be evident.
I hate it when he tells the story.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty.
No, it was not pretty at all. He was a blubbering idiot. But guess what? At my daughter's wedding, what did I tell you?
Yeah.
I waited. I stood there and waited for her to come up to the place where I was going to walk her up and all this and that. I was not comfortable at my own daughter's wedding until I saw Rick's face, and then I knew I was going to be okay because I had somebody to cry with.
I hate it when he does that.
And that's a true story, and I am not kidding. Oh, well, hey. What else was I had another thought. Oh, some of the other things that okay, here's one. And since this is like looking back and broadcasting, what's the toughest sport for you to have done?
Probably football. Yeah, my biggest problem with football is, and I hated the teams that had those light numbers
Oh,
on
God.
light shirts.
Mhm.
I had no idea what numbers they
They're
were,
hard to see.
and so many names you have to. It was easier when we were doing it over the we had
Web TV.
the web TV.
Yeah, because we could look at it.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't have to say as much, you look the game. But yeah, football is harder for me.
Brian?
I think I'm going to go along with football just because there's so many moving parts and
Yeah.
and people. And then as a basketball guy, not a football guy,
Right.
the nuance of how can you try to share with the listener or the viewer something when you know you're not an expert at it. Like basketball,
Yeah.
no, and then baseball's slower paced where you know it's a ball strike, it's a count, and we've all guessed, are you going to run on this or whatever? So you sound a little bit more intelligent there, but in
Yeah.
football was I think the toughest one.
Steve?
I'm not sure which ones I announced.
Well, most of it was basketball.
Most
But you
basketball,
did
some
some of the other.
football and all that. Oh, probably the toughest thing for me was the first year I worked with you guys and Brady's playing. I didn't want to praise him at all.
And you didn't for quite a while.
And
Seriously.
until you guys told me, you're allowed to say something nice about your own son on the air.
I was worried at that point, and if you don't mind me injecting here, I was worried because your wife would sit kind of behind us.
Oh, man.
And I was thinking, she is going to explode if he doesn't say something nice
Yeah.
about her kid.
Yeah, well, and people probably didn't hear half of what I said because Lisa's yelling for the team was going right through my mind.
Okay.
You know, I don't think for me it was as much a sport as it was the type of game. A blowout.
No,
Oh.
yeah.
How
The
tough
worst.
were blowouts to do to make it sound interesting? Because you can only do so much if it's a 30-point game.
Yeah.
Having said that, for me, football too, because again, I was no football expert. I didn't know tech. Actually, radio was better for me because Bill would make the basic play call and then I'd embellish it.
Right.
You know, he's going, yeah, it's 3rd and 2, and I'm going, yeah, he dove here and he spun and he got through the, that type of thing. So
Yeah, football I didn't do a whole lot of broadcasting with that, but just understanding the game and stuff. My first year teaching was 75 at Oak Hill, made $8,900 a year. You talk about these.
I was a senior in high school.
Yeah. And I had prep with Jim Law. And that's probably one of the best things that's happened in my life is to be around him. And so I kind of got attached to the football. And then when Terry Lichtenberg took over, I'd been doing junior high and I was going to get out because I thought, well, I can only be loyal to Jim or whatever. And they came in and said, no, you're going to coach some more, boy. And Terry was great. And of course, we won that state championship. And Terry was really good about allowing the assistants to, be part of it. And so that was kind of neat there. And I learned a lot about football. But going back to Jim, my first year there, I still was a little rough on the edges. And we had 48 kids come out for 8th grade football. And so I had my parents meeting, and I said, we'll get every kid in every game. Believe me. Well, basically we drove it down against Eastern a couple times, and we didn't ever get the punt teams or anything like that. So I'm walking back from the Oak Hill football field to the gym. Some guy in a van, there's so much for paying all your road. I went over, ripped the door open. All of a sudden, I got a cop from behind pulled away. It's Jim Law. He walks me there and he starts laughing. He says, "Isn't this fun?"
I think the fun part for me is when you guys had me down on the sideline, and then I always tried to bring a coaching perspective. Watch what the coaches were doing. Watch what
That's
the
what we
assistant
really
coaches
liked. I
were
remember
doing.
that.
yeah, that was important.
I did a little bit of radio before I got to get at Sheridan with Bud Wright, and it was, I got to be in his film room, so the coaching aspect of it is that's what I knew, why they're taking a timeout, or what are they saying on the halftime, or, how are kids reacting, because again, I didn't know if someone was filling a gap or A gap or B gap or whatever.
Right.
I couldn't add that.
No.
But what I tried to do for our broadcast was see, what am I seeing on the sideline from a team aspect or a coaching aspect, and I hope that came through over the
It
years.
did.
That we did
I
that, and it
remember
was
that.
fun. It was fun to watch that.
It added a whole new dimension. We're
Mhm.
not looking at it from that perspective. We're just
Nope.
trying to tell what's going on. And then when you would break in with stuff like that, both of you, that was great.
For me, basketball was the toughest. Now, let me preface that. In football, as you said, I would describe the play, Jim would embellish it. Halderman did this, did whatever, and then we go right back to the next play. Basketball, you get in a rhythm of doing it, and it works. In basketball, somebody would make a great play, and any of the four of you would say something, and then we'd go on, after the basket, and they're bringing the ball back down the floor. What was hard for me, because you get in that rhythm, what was hard for me was all of a sudden people were texting me or calling me and saying, "What's the score?" And Jim Brunner taught me a really valuable lesson. He said, every time there's a basket scored, read the score. Or every time someone's at the free throw line, say the score.
Oh, okay.
Good point.
That kind of thing. And as simple as that sounds, incorporating into your rhythm that particular thing was not easy for me.
Yeah.
Because, sometimes you get into that and you're thinking to yourself, you're listening to your own commentary while you're doing it, thinking, okay, I got to do this, I got to do it. And then, thank God, be honest, thank God the four of you guys were there and would incorporate stuff that actually helped and made us all look good. And we were not professional experts, but my gosh, we were pretty good, I think.
Well, I think we had a lot of respect for each other, and we tried to not walk on each other. How many times you hear a broadcast where they're both talking at once? Well, it's smaller, not big time. But I think it's almost like a dance, isn't it? I know
Exactly.
Brian's going to go here. I know Bill will go there, and then I'm going to have this little space that I can shoot something in there and not disrupt the broadcast.
I'll tell you, one of the, I've had stage 4 cancer twice, quadruple bypass heart surgery, but I came close to death even before then. And after we got beat on that goaltending call up in Fort Wayne, what a great bunch of kids, and we went home and had a good time and stuff. Got to bed late. About 7:30 that morning, the phone rings. I'm thinking, who's that? Is that going to be some parent and they're going to get it? So I go, hello. Hi, Steve. This is Hilliard Gates. Oh, hi, Hilliard.
Local icon.
And I got to do the 90 and 91 state championships with him. And I'll tell you that was fun. He was so good that he could, like you guys do with each other. And when I was part of the team, you kind of just lead them in and right away, okay, here's my point.
Boy, he was good, wasn't he?
Oh, gee.
But at the same time, you also did I don't remember if it was pregame, postgame, whatever, where you guys were sitting on stools
Yeah.
with microphones,
Right.
and you're talking about what you expected to happen or what did happen later. And I thought you did a great job at that.
Hey, one of the nicest compliments I ever got, Hilliard say, marvelous. That was his thing.
Two things I remember about Hilliard. When you take a shot from the baseline, it was half-court shot. Remember that?
Yeah,
Half-court.
true.
And then he'd always say, 100 seconds to go in a game.
Yeah.
It was like, 100 seconds, okay.
He had his own way, but he was good.
I'm going to go back to I don't remember ever having a meeting where we talked about our mission, but I think all of us had the idea of we're highlighting high school sports, or we're providing high school sports to those people who can't be there. It was never what now today is shock jock or catchphrases or whatever popularity. But it was really, we loved being there, and we loved doing that. You know, you go back to the swamp, and we would cut people off that had a comment about a coach or a
Right.
player or something like that.
Like Billy Bob.
I don't remember ever having a meeting, but like all four of us had that same intention of why are we doing it? Our why.
Right.
That's what I want to
That's
say. What I remember when you called and thought about this for a month or two, like the why of what we did, what wasn't about money, it wasn't about advertising, it wasn't about fame, it was just we love sports and we wanted to share it and highlight high school programs. And I'm forever thankful for each and every one of you. Coach had me over to his house one time when we were competing against each other and helped me as a younger coach. You know, the pressure of him being at Northfield South and then him coaching at Southwood, and he had better teams early on in that year and was beating us. He called me over to his house and calmed me down and said, it's not about you and I. It's not about me against you. And I'm paraphrasing now what you said, Coach, but I left there like that's a man. Like, that's a man who's had success. You know, and I grew as a person there, but I grew as a person as well, and will forever remember Wabash because of our friendship and our why of doing it. It's why people clapped for us when we came in the championship game, right? Because I think it comes across when you're genuine. However, you're the stats geek, you're the humor guy, you're the play-by. I'm the quasi-coach guy, right? But it was all genuine about the sport,
Genuine and authentic.
and authentic.
Yeah.
And that's what I'll forever remember, and hopefully have brought to my podcasting career now. That I'm just forever grateful, and it was a no-brainer to miss finals day to come back.
Well,
And
I couldn't
reminisce,
agree
right?
with you more.
Well,
That was a special time in my life, I know.
Oh, me
and I
too.
look back fondly on every minute of it. And we were all in it for each other, too.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't want to walk on you, or you didn't want to. We just want to have fun.
It
with
wasn't about us. I didn't
No.
think.
No.
Let me ask you this. Was there ever anything that you can remember that just kind of either made you laugh or raised your eyebrows? And I have one in particular, but I'll go last. When we were doing a broadcast or doing the swamp, something funny or something serious that just blew your mind. And if you need me to go first, I'll go first.
My memory is.
Oh, mine's all.
I'll go first
All right.
because this is something that's
He's so
behind the
hungry.
scenes.
Oh, my God.
And this is what Brian just said. We had so much fun before the broadcast, after the broadcast. The three of us, I think, I don't know if you were, I know you were probably back at the station. We were doing a football. It was either the sectional or the regional, something over at Adams Center.
Oh, I know where you're going.
And we're walking out of the stadium after the game, and I've got to go to the restroom. You know, you're doing these games, you can't get up and go to the restroom.
Right.
So I'm dying. I can't wait to get to the restroom. As we're walking out, here's a porta potty, right? Brian's smiling, but I don't think he knows where I'm going yet, and I'm blaming him. I go in the porta potty,
It was
right?
us. It was us.
I go in the porta potty, and I do my thing, and I'm get out, and I push, and it won't open. I'm going, you know how they go red, green, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm pushing on it, and it won't open. And I'm thinking, what the heck? So I rattle it. I can't get it to move. Go against it, it moves a little bit. Then I hear these two snickering out there. They're holding the door of the porta potty shut while I'm trying to, and they can see red, green, red, green, red, green.
We finally had to let go of it because I thought for sure it was going to go over. You know, you're going to have that video.
That would've been great. That would've been
I
great.
think Coach Tonzoni came up with that idea.
It probably was.
But we were dying laughing.
Mine is this. We were at Southwood one night, and this was, I don't remember, it was like a mid-season game, conference game. I don't remember who they were playing, but I describe a touchdown pass that somebody threw to one of the, it was whoever Southwood was playing. Let's say it was Rochester. All of a sudden there's a pass, goes into the end zone, touchdown, and I describe it, and Rick, or I did the play-by-play on it. Rick starts describing it, and he goes, and there, whoever it was, there he is out there, naked as the day he was born.
I remember that.
I do remember that. Naked as the day he came into the world.
There it was. There you go. And I've used that several
That
times,
came-
but
I
it doesn't
stole that
have the
from
same.
my, assistant coach at Furman.
Really?
He got mad at me, and I probably told you this story before, just to tell you where that phrase came
All right.
from. It's a better story than me using it. It was during practice, and we were playing against the starting five, and we were killing them. And Coach Johnny Jones is his name. His son is Orlando Jones, the actor.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, you told me about it.
Yeah, and he called a play. I'd been hitting shots. And I was a great practice player. And
That's why the legend of Hondo.
he called the play, and he said, "I'm going to get you the ball, Rick. You're going to go around the pick. I want you, whatever, take shot, fake, whatever. But we're going to roll our center to the basket. Get it to him." Okay. So we run the play against the starting unit, and I go around the pick, and nobody follows me. I'm wide open. And so I just
Let her fly.
let it go. And he calls timeout, and I can't tell you the words that he used. I mean, it was. He got pretty profane with me. He said, "I can't believe you, Harness. I told you to pass the ball. You got Jonathan under the basket, naked as the day he came into the world, and he fired up a shot." And I almost started laughing because I loved that. He said that. So every time I get a chance to use it, I use it because, and I said, "Coach, I hit the shot." I don't, no, I can't expletive after expletive, but naked as the day he came into the world, and you fire up, but you let it fly.
Do I have permission to use that in a post game?
Yes.
You post game.
Oh, Brian,
I'll give you credit.
Yeah,
I probably used it 10 times.
I've gotten a lot of mileage out of that comment. And it's Coach Johnny Jones, rest his soul. I don't think he's any longer with us. Had an afro about this big back in the 70s. And such a funny guy.
A lot of memories are flying back. I don't know. I don't have one in particular, but didn't like Bob Hampton used to sit out there and get scores and bring them in. He'd be surfing for scores or in the phone or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
He had me bring in the scores.
You know what?
update the
Thank
scores.
God.
He took it serious. Too.
Oh
He
yeah,
worked
thank
hard.
God for Bob Hampton, because at that point, and he's been to a few of these.
Yes.
But thank God for Bob Hampton, because people would call in and he'd be getting scores, and somebody would call in to want to go on the air and make some stupid comment, and Bob would just cut them off.
Yeah.
Thank God. But yeah, but anyway, go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just saying that they're all coming flooding back a little bit, but nothing really that stood out that was like, I'm sure I said something on the air. Dropped the mic or something at some point.
Oh, Bob, I remember when we went to the semi-state, he was over east trucking, Pennsylvania and stuff, and he couldn't be there and all that. And I'd always heard what a god-awful parent he's gonna be, and he's one of the best.
Oh yeah,
He's one
coached
of the
with
best.
he coached with Rick and I, and he was
Yeah, he
Bob-
was
Bob's a
really
good
good.
man. Good man.
Yeah, and I remember after, at the sports awards program, he comes up, and I'm thinking,
Here we go.
no, please, Bob. I didn't mean any, I know I yelled at Brad a few times. He shook hands. I want to thank you for all you did for Brad this year. And I'm about to get him now. I about got tears in. It just,
Bob's a good man, very good man.
yes, sir. I used to drive down Old 24 before they built the 4-lane.
Oh yeah.
And they lived in Rich Valley. And there's a house right there you can see, and you'd go by and you'd see Bob out throwing to Brad. He'd throw him in the dirt, and Brad had to block it and all that stuff. And I think, boy, Bob, you don't have very good control. Well, he was training Brad to be a catcher that the Philadelphia Phillies were interested in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you guys ready for the Christmas moments?
Uh-oh, look out.
Because it's gonna bring more of this to light. So we'll have.
needles, Bill. but
I figured as much. All right, here we go.
54 minutes for it.
There you go.
Exactly.
2025 Christmas thoughts, or Bill's holiday message to the modern sports masses. And this has virtually nothing to do with sports. You ready?
There's a lot of word salad there.
I know. Sitting at home watching it snow softly with Christmas music playing in the background while savoring Mrs. Barrows' M&M's chocolate chip cookies and sipping Bailey's Irish breakfast. My mind drifted into some of the music of the season. Steve, this is going to hit home for you.
Okay.
We all know the meaning of the season, and we all love watching loved ones open gifts, especially white-eyed kids. Let's examine a few of these to truly get into the mood. We Wish You a Merry Christmas is an English West Country carol that captures the abundant goodwill of the holidays and a desire for figgy pudding. Has anybody ever had figgy pudding?
No.
Can't say that I have.
It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. How about Jingle Bells? Sleigh bells and building a snowman in an open meadow doesn't excite me much anymore. How about you guys? Didn't think so.
Not with those northern Indiana winds.
No.
Yeah.
What fun it is to ride and sing in a one-horse open sleigh. When was the last time that you saw a bobtailed nag? Think about that a minute. Hark the Herald Angels Sing takes me back to the choral arrangement on a Charlie Brown Christmas. Think about that. Okay? Deck the Halls describes the best part of the holidays, decorating, dressing up, singing, and getting a bunch of stuff you really don't need. You know, like a big mouth Billy Bass or a Sledge-O-Matic or anything else from Ronco. So fa-la-la-la-la to that. And then there's every woman's favorite, Santa Baby, where the female singer is seductively asking old St. Nick for mink stoles, luxury cars, a yacht, a deed to a platinum mine, jewelry, cash, and decor from Tiffany's. Is that naughty or nice? To make that woman happy creates what I can only think of as Elvis's Blue Christmas, because she's not staying around with whoever she's currently with if she gets any or all of those aforementioned gifts. To be honest, I'd prefer Porky's Blue Christmas, because it would at least help lighten the mood. That brings us to the 99 bottles of beer on the wall Christmas song, the 12 Days of
That's
Christmas.
a Christmas song.
No, the 12 Days of Christmas is, Jim,
Oh.
where some rich medieval dude decides to shower his lover with ascending quantities of entertainers, female farmhands, assorted waterfowl, and gaming birds to go along with 40 pieces of jewelry and 12 trees to plant. And all of that stuff is delivered annually by a jolly old elf dressed in red in a magical sleigh, regardless as to if the weather cooperates or not, by a herd of flying future venison steaks, and led by one with a blinking scarlet schnoz. In reality, we all know that there's no possible way he can deliver all of that stuff without UPS, the United States Postal Service, let alone DoorDash, Amazon Prime, and Uber. Okay? And don't even get me started on Christmas songs or Christmas movies. We just did the songs. Miracle on 34th Street, A Christmas Story, The Santa Claus, Red One, White Christmas, Home Alone, Bad Santa, and Elf. And my two personal favorites, It's a Wonderful Life, where Rick will cry, where we learn that every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Thanks, Clarence. And Christmas Vacation, where it's a long way down the holiday road. So Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. And there
Well
it is.
done.
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah, very nice.
Very good, very good.
You got
And to be
one.
honest, that's the reason that we do this. It's the reason we do this show. There is your pop culture stuff. That's why I love doing all of those broadcasts, all of those Friday night shows, and now this. And what really comes back to me is, and I don't remember if I told you this when you and I were talking, Brian. No. Is when Teresa asked me if we'd be interested in doing something like this. And I said to Rick, would you be interested? And he said, I'm only interested in retirement of doing things that give me joy. And I thought, wow, is that profound? And from that day, I decided that's what I'm going to do. I'm only going to do things that I really want to do. That's what you're doing. That's what you're going to do in retirement.
Yeah.
That's what this guy does, especially with his grandkids.
Yep.
And Jim, when I called him and asked him about it, it's like his first thing was, "Great, let's get the band back together." Which in all reality is what this is. Any other comments?
Well done, Bill.
You bet.
Just thank you for asking me back. It's a pleasure. It's an honor. They were good years, man.
Would you come back again?
Oh, heck yes, I'd come back. Anytime, you want some really ridiculous comments, I'll be ready
We're
to.
good at
But we were good. And that's not meant to pat ourselves on the back, but all of you meant something special to me. I mentioned the time when Coach had me over to the house. And there's some other things that Coach did for me that'll forever be remembered. He wasn't a competitor. He turned out to be, a mentor to me. And so anytime I can sit next to Coach is an honor too. This is just, this is enjoyment, like you said. This is something I do. I'd rather do this than reviewing for finals. Sorry, sorry to my Delphi kids, but that's the truth. But thank you very much, and I hope people enjoyed what we had to say today.
Talk about one more time. Talk about the podcast and all that.
So
people can get on.
If you're an Indiana fan, Back Home Network on YouTube or Assembly Call, you can find it on Spotify, Apple Podcasts.
Very, very easy to find.
Yes.
Yeah, YouTube live. If you watch the game, I don't think I'll be on Saturday, but I will be on next Monday. But you can find us on YouTube live streaming or on an audio podcast. If you're interested in the bracketology stuff for your favorite college stuff, it's DelphiBracketology.com, where we will put stuff out more in January, and we're on the X or whatever that is called nowadays at Delphi Brackets, and we share college basketball information. So tune in, let me know, and be glad to have you IU fans or just college basketball fans follow what we do.
Well, we wish you a lot of success.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll live vicariously a little bit through you
Yeah,
because
okay.
just hearing you talk about this brings back great memories.
Thanks.
I'll be watching.
Me too. Coach, anything? Parting shot?
Have zero.
All right, here's the parting shot. It is now. We have been doing this for an hour and 31 minutes.
Is that all?
That tells you, to me, that tells us how much we enjoyed, one, doing what we just talked about, and two, the time we've spent together and are spending together today.
Yep.
So, thanks for everyone that viewed this or will view this, and we will have Randy Holt from the Grant County Hall of Fame here next month, third Thursday in January, and we will grill Randy. So,
All right.
have a good holiday season. We will see you after the holidays. Thank you.
Hey,
Yes, sir.
you're sitting next to a Grant County Hall of Famer.
I know. You and him.
Oh, well, I knew that because when I first got to Oak Hill, harnesses, how are we going to stop them? But from Eastbrook,
Yeah.
no, I rode along with the football team, and then a few years ago, we were down there at that old Coliseum in Marion,
Oh, yeah.
That's where
inducted
that's where
into
it
the
is, yeah.
Grant County Hall of Fame.
That's awesome.
That was so fun.